Stogies of the Week is brought to you by the Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island. It's a great place to enjoy drinking a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. And by M. Bombay Cigars, representing the most admired cigar culture of Cuba. They select the best quality tobacco to use in the aging process. M. Bombay cigars are then rolled in Costa Rica by some of the most experienced cigar rollers, giving a unique smoking experience. The band portrays the detailed and artistic nature of our small industry. Try the M. Bombay Casera, M. Bombay Mora, and recently released M. Bombay Habano. M. Bombay cigars, where the cigar is a way of life. Welcome back to the Stogie Geek Show. This is our Stogies of the Week segment. Always excited to do this segment. I smoked a lot of really awesome cigars this week, too.
Yeah, actually, before we get to that, can we just throw up the M. Bombay photo?
Yeah. They have a new cigar out.
Yes, the M. Bombay Habano. Just let me know when that's up, just because I can't see it here. But the M. Bombay Habano is their fifth regular production line. It's going to feature Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Ecuadorian Criollo binder, and a combination of Nicaraguan and Peruvian fillers, which we're going to have Mel Shaw on in
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks, and he seems to work a lot with that Peruvian tobacco. And I'm going to talk a little more about Peruvian tobacco next week, because I smoked the Peruvian Puro actually just today, so I didn't have time to write it up, but I want to smoke another one before I talk about it. So Mel's got, he's got 5 sizes coming out. Do we have the picture up yet?
Yes, the picture's been up, yep.
Okay, so you can see Mel went with a couple of different band options. He's got some of the big bands. You can see it on the Bellicoso and the Churchill. That's kind of his ornate, mosaic type of band. And then the other 3 sizes, he opted to go with the a little more of a traditional style band. And we'll get a little more. We'll talk with Mel a little more. But I'll tell you, M. Bombay Cigars, I'm really been impressed with them. So definitely, folks should be checking them out at their stores.
Excellent. I smoked Tierra Volcan. Have you smoked through this whole line?
I've smoked through a lot of them, not the whole line.
I like this little short Robusto. It's called the Corto. It's very nice.
I've had that one.
Yeah, it's a great kind of short smoke. Has some great flavors, a little bit of sweetness, but that very kind of rustic Nicaraguan kind of feel to it. A little bit of pepper up front. I thought it was very well balanced, and I thought it was a good smoke. I gave it a 5. It was my favorite in the Tierra Volcan line so far.
They're doing really good down in Charlotte, those cigars. And that cigar is doing very well in the humidor. When they actually first came out, I thought they were a little rough. And then I remember when we had Marcus on last fall, they'd really started to come around, I thought, into their own. And they do age real well. So, I mean, you get a 5, like you said, you have a few in the humidor, they're going to be pretty good.
Absolutely. Yeah, these did get better with age in my humidor. Back to you, Will.
So I started off this week. I went back, and I hadn't smoked one of these in a while. Camacho Ecuador. Which was actually the first new blend they came out with following the 2013 rebrand. So
is that the red? Is that a red label?
Blue. This is the blue label.
Okay.
This is the aqua blue label, and I would say not first new. It's the first regular production cigar they came out with. Loved this cigar last year. Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Brazilian Matafina binder, and Honduran and Dominican fillers. When I smoked this cigar, I remember when I smoked it, I'll never remember where I was. I was in Orlando, Florida, and the cigar basically, how can I put, when it knocked me on my ass, it was so freaking strong. And I thought it was stronger. I thought it was the strongest cigar in the line. I then started reading a lot of the reviews, and most people were not saying it was the strongest cigar in the line. So now that I've gone back and smoked it, I'd say it's not quite as strong as the Corojo and the Corojo Maduro. It's a medium plus, so I think it was so new when I had it in Orlando, Florida. It's still very bold in terms of what Camacho is looking to do, the target areas. It's got a lot of pepper, a nice red pepper note. It's got this chocolate cream note that kind of smooths out some of the spices there. Love this cigar. I love how it's amped down a little, how it's come down a little, and it's less in your face. it's $7 a cigar. It's a a great value. It's a box-worthy cigar in my book. I love this cigar.
I was actually kind of surprised at your rating, Will. The
That it was high.
Yeah, the Camachos don't people don't speak. It's not the favorite of some of the local cigar shops here in Rhode Island.
That
Interestingly enough,
that that
and I
was
don't
my
get it because I think that they did a great job with the repackaging and reblending of some of their blends.
yeah. And this one, like I said, was an all new blend. And I, like I said, I agree with you. I'd say it's not a bell of the ball because it's a line, but in my opinion, this is the best of the regular. I know a lot of people like the Connecticut's
Hmm.
a lot. I was always liking the Criollo until this one came out, and like I said, I hadn't smoked it since last year. I'd smoked a bunch of them last year. Like I said, all of them were knocking me on my ass, but I came back. I hadn't smoked in a while. Came back to it. Really, really liked it.
Mm.
So Toro size, I think, is the way to go with this one as well.
The one I came back to one too, the Rapture Robusto. This is kind of a medium-bodied smoke. I had it first thing in the morning. This was a good cigar. I mean, it had a nice kind of like sweet tobacco kind of flavors, even a touch of spice in the beginning. I gave it a 5. I liked it. The burn draw and construction were great, and it kind of hit the spot first thing in the morning.
Totally agree with you on that cigar. It's that was we had Jason Holly on a few weeks ago, and that was his first blend.
Mm.
And I think it's kind of a more traditional cigar in his line.
It is.
It's got
That's a great word to describe it, Will.
it's La Aurora. I mean, it's gonna smoke like La Aurora in my book. So if you like La Aurora, it's a good cigar. I think since then Jason's kind of and he's talked a lot about how he's tried to expand and push the limits, so to speak. But that one's kind of gonna give you the La Aurora taste to it.
Absolutely. Speaking of La Aurora, I smoked a Cameroon Preferido #1. This is a vintage cigar, several years old.
Oh.
It might be my last one of these vintage ones, and it's just amazing the flavor transitions that these aged Preferido Cameroon #1s have. They mellow out so much with time, and they age extraordinarily well. I can't even talk tonight. I smoked a newer Cameroon Preferido #1, and then I went back and I smoked this vintage, and I want to buy a whole box and put them in my humidor and age them for 5 to 10 years because it's a Chuck Norris cigar. This is my first Chuck Norris cigar of the evening, and it's just wonderful. I smoked it right down to the end. It's just a wonderful sweetness, wonderful flavor transitions. It's got lots of different flavors going on with it. I really liked it. Fight Chuck Norris for sure.
Yeah, you have 3 Chuck Norris cigars tonight.
I do.
Is that I wonder if that's a first.
It could be. Could be a first. Back to you, Will.
So yeah, I'm going to talk about this cigar. Chris, can you bring up the Neanderthal picture?
Now we're going to talk about this is the Skip Martin's Neanderthal, right?
Skip Martin's
Roma
Romacraft Neanderthal. This is a pre-release, okay? So I gave it no rating, but I decided I'm going to come up with a way to kind of rate a pre-release cigar. And this, in honor of Stogie Santa, because he's been a part of the show for a while, I'm going to call this is the type of cigar, once you smoke it, you have to call Stogie Santa.
It's a call Stogie Santa.
Yeah, and it's not because it's Roma Craft. We know Stogie Santa, loves the Roma Craft. It has nothing to do with that. So this cigar, do we have is the picture up yet?
Yeah, the picture's up.
Okay, it's a unique figurado. Okay, it's kind of a gentle horn shape, right? So you can see how it tapers, right? Now it's a little hard to see at the picture, but the last half inch by the footer tapers in the opposite direction down. So it's a little thinner than the widest point in there. The Neanderthal, I got these cigars at the trade show last year. It's a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, a Connecticut broadleaf binder, and it's got a filler from the DR, Nicaragua, and a Pennsylvania double Lajero. Now, the key thing is with this cigar, Skip, and he's talked a lot about this. I know he's talked about it with us on Stogie Geek. He was looking to make a powerhouse cigar. All right. So he used a leaf a Pennsylvania double hero leaf called Green River Valley Sucker One. Okay, and he talked about this. Instead of trying to put Lajero in to get the strength, he went with a leaf that naturally was higher in nicotine. So he was saying that normally it's 5 to 6% nicotine in like Ester Lajero. This was like at 9 to 13%. So it's a much higher concentration of nicotine in there. Now, I've talked to other manufacturers, and I don't think this is unique that what Skip is doing in terms of using that leaf. I know other manufacturers do go to Pennsylvania to amp up their blends a bit.
Mm.
But I think what Skip tried to do here is he tried to make a full throttle, full strength, full bodied cigar. So I went and experimented with this. I had smoked one at the show and it was very strong. Um, I put this has been in the humidor since the show. I went back and smoked this thing. And first of all, I don't think it lost much strength. All right. And I started smoking this thing and I'm like, oh, I can handle this, right? I hit about almost the 60% mark with this smoke, and my legs turned to rubber, and I started basically getting dizzy, right? Where I basically, wow, because I got up to stand up, and I honestly, this thing was a powerhouse. Uh, Now, that being said, I probably got up too fast. I'm getting older or whatever, but this thing is not just a nicotine bomb. It is packed to the punch with flavor. And that was the part where I really wanted to see if Stogie Santa went back and smoked this to see what he thinks. There is just a wonderful dark chocolate notes. The spices reminded me of Mexican hot chocolate. I mean, it's what Skip tried to do. He's delivering on this cigar. This has been in the humidor almost 10 months. You got to keep in mind. Um, so I don't want to say it tasted like Daisy Cutter by Viaje, but it was that type of, Daisy Cutter was a
It's
full
that
throttle cigar.
rich, full throttle cigar. Yeah,
Right, rich
yep, I
full
like
throttle.
that.
Yeah, I mean, so in my opinion, this could be this. I mean, I don't know if I could smoke this every day, and I don't know if it's box worthy because they come in boxes of 50, and that's the only reason why I would say it's not. If it was a 10 count, 20 count boxes, it's box worthy all the day. But it is a absolute Roma Craft fans. If you want something that's full, get this cigar. You're not going to be this. I love this cigar.
Even though you got rubber legs.
Well, I think it was because I was like, I wasn't. It's when I got up and I wasn't. I was sitting in a beach chair in my garage when I did it. So when I stood up, I felt it. But yeah, it was probably more of a product of me and maybe underestimating the strength of that cigar because it's a strong cigar.
I can't wait to smoke it.
Yeah, I mean, they are supposed to be shipping very soon. And I love the shape too, by the way. Skip talked about it. It is a artesian shape, and it burns like a joy. I mean, I mean, I shouldn't say burn like a joy. It did require some touch-ups. Okay, more touch-ups than I like. But it wasn't canoeing. It wasn't tunneling. It was just I did have to touch it up a little, maybe. But I think that was more of a product of me not paying attention and just kind of enjoying the cigar too much. So it wasn't Paul syndrome. Let's put it wasn't even near Paul syndrome. Yeah.
So here's my second cigar with the Fight Chuck Norris rating, and that is an El Triunfador Lancero. Now, I labeled this vintage. This came from, was it last week we were smoking the Culebra with the El Triunfador Lancero in it? Yeah, this is the Lancero that came in that pack. So I had divvied up to two other people and myself the three of the Culebra. It was 2 weeks. It might have been 2 weeks ago. And left inside the box was this El Triunfador Lancero. And I smoked it, and wow, was it awesome. This thing poured that rich Nicaraguan kind of almost chocolatey flavor coupled with a hint of spice and pepper, perfectly balanced. Oh, it was a joy to smoke. I loved it. Thank God I have more of them. I mean, I don't have any more.
Paul, it's funny. So I did have this cigar about 3 weeks ago. Now, a lot of times I don't have smokes of the week if I'm just enjoying a cigar, if I'm out with friends, I'm not taking notes or really reviewing it. And a guy, my buddy from Union Cigar, handed these out, and my goodness, I couldn't agree with you more.
It's
this
unbelievable,
cigar,
isn't it?
and it was yeah, and this is from the ones I think that came out maybe the batches from last year. This I don't remember this cigar performing at this level ever.
No,
Not that it was a
I
bad cigar, yeah, but I totally agree with you on that.
I probably rated these earlier on in the show's history not as highly. I think these age phenomenal, and I think that was the product of the higher rating. Was the age on this cigar is really starting to hit its peak. I think it's got a lot of leg left in it to age some more, but it was fight Chuck Norris.
The dark chocolate notes I was getting off that thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ready for my? I'll cover one more.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my third fight Chuck Norris cigar is the Opus X Petit Lancero. This one comes from, let's see, 3 years. So this was from my 2012,
Mhm.
2012 batch of Opus X. I'm a little kind of anal about my Opus X. I actually put them in Ziploc bags and I write the month and year that I purchased them so I can always go back and smoke something that's at least 3 years old with Opus. Except for the Opus X I'm smoking now, which is an Opus X Robusto, which comes in the tin, which I can't get enough of these. I only got one more left in this particular tin. These are triple fermented. They have at least they have the cedar sleeve with the red band on it, which I'm told means they're triple fermented. But this is spectacular. Now this Petit Lancero with roughly 3 years of age on it was awesome. I mean, the combination of the spices that you got from it, the pepper notes, and that leathery component, it didn't have a prominent sweet flavor, which was interesting. As Opus ages a little longer, it develops that sweetness flavor
Yeah.
as it ages. But this one, the sweetness was actually dialed back. However, it was interesting that the other flavors that were there, that leather and pepper and spiciness, really held my attention and coated my entire. It's another one that coated my entire palate very, very well with just awesome flavors. And this is one of my favorite sized Opus, I think, in this Petit Lancero. They're somewhat difficult to find. So
It looks like in that picture it's a little more I mean, I should notice, but it's a little more tapered at the head, is it?
it's a Petit Lancero Bellicoso. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's yeah. Their Petit Lancero has a torpedo or Bellicoso head on it, making
Okay, I
them
didn't
kind of
realize that.
unique.
That one I didn't
Yeah.
realize, yeah.
Yeah, and they're awesome. Again, if you find these anywhere, buy some and age them because they're spectacular.
Yeah, but I kind of agree with the Opus X kind of when the sweetness dials back, and I've had it on some of the other sizes, that's when I really enjoy it the most.
Mm. Yeah, it's a very unique experience. Back to you, Will.
So I'm going to talk about the first of my 266 cigars. And this one is, I mean, they're 66. Not only are they 66 ring gauges, but they're actually both box pressed. So the first one I'm going to talk about is a line extension that just got released from AJ Fernandez, Stogie Geek sponsor, called the AJ Fernandez New World, the Brute. And it's a brute. It's a 6x66, and it's that Nicaraguan puro. It features that dark Nicaraguan wrapper, which I just love.
And it's a
Uh,
box press.
it's a box press. And if you look at I know it's a little hard to see on that picture, but it is a box press, and I don't I hate it's almost like a brick in a
Yeah,
way. Right?
yeah.
Um, so it was actually given as a shop exclusive to Sirius Cigar in Houston, and it actually they launched it. They have a big festival, the Texas Cigar Festival's probably one of the big four cigar festivals in the country. So they got that, and then Sirius is going to have it now as an exclusive going forward. Um, I'll tell you what, this cigar, it's not my favorite size in the New World line. I'd still go with the Navigante, which is the 5.5 by 55, which is the one I really like in that. But it performed very well. I mean, it was the. I actually felt that since I started smoking the New Worlds, they've dialed back. They were more medium plus when I started smoking them, and I think over time they've kind of mellowed a bit to a medium. And I think that this is where this cigar was coming in. It was a medium. I read another review saying they thought this cigar was stronger than the others, and I kind of disagree. I think this one's a
Mm.
little more dialed back. It's still going to give you all the good flavors of an AJ Fernandez cigar. You're gonna have that chocolate, a little bit of baker's spice. I mean, if you like New World, there's no reason why you wouldn't like the cigar, except if it's a bigger cigar. It's bigger. The burn was really, really good on this cigar. I enjoyed it. It's a 6.95 for this much tobacco.
It's pretty
Um,
good.
it's a box split in my book. It was
Yeah, I want to try. I think it's interesting to smoke a 66 ring gauge in that box press.
it really, if here's the thing, there's a market this can appeal to. And it's not a cigar where I felt the blend. I'd say the Navigante, which I just talked about, is more of a box worthy, and that's just probably because I like the 55 gauge better. But I don't know if this is going to win over a big ring, someone who doesn't like a big ring gauge. But it's going to appeal to someone who likes the big ring gauge, and they'll enjoy it. They'll get everything that the New World delivers with that.
What was your smoking time on this, Will? Do you know?
It was about 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, and I smoked slower to begin with. And here's the thing: when I got to the nub on that thing, I smoked two of them. It was firm and burning cool,
Mm.
and that's just a testament to the work that AJ Fernandez does. And this is a value price cigar. It's not short on quality.
Yeah. No, I
It,
like that. I like a value price cigar in that big ring gauge that's box pressed with the summertime coming up. This might be something that I'll light up outside while on the deck, having a family party or something like that when you're going to be outside for a long period of time. This is one that I would definitely reach for. And, at that value price, if it's, outside getting knocked around a little bit, it's okay because it's not a, I hate to light up, you hate to light up a $30 cigar when you're outside just kicking around on the deck, but you want something that's got some substance to it that is going to last a long time and, of course, has good flavor. And I think this cigar, it sounds like hits it on the head. So I hope our local shops carry them and I can get my hands on a couple.
well, right now you can't because it's only going to that one store in Houston.
Oh, this is a store exclusive. I missed that part. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Now maybe that will change. I can't say.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get them through Serious Cigars. They are available online as well. I'm gonna try to get some more of them to see, but I only got two of them. But it's definitely worth. I'd be curious to see what you think with that cigar.
Yeah, I can't wait to smoke it. I smoked the La Barba Purple Toro. And, this is one you sent me, and I think it was special because you sent it in a glass tube.
Okay, so I sent it a glass tube because of packaging.
Okay.
I was very worried. I was very worried about that cigar getting damaged. So
yeah, the wrapper was a little fragile. I mean, that's not a negative comment by any stretch of the imagination, but the wrapper was fragile.
It was a very thin wrapper. It's a Habana Vuelta Abajo Ecuador wrapper on that thing.
And what? No, who is La Barba?
Okay, so there's a guy made a name of Tony Bellato, and if you guys remember from the Caldwell interview, Tony Bellato is working with Robert Caldwell on that Lost and Found series where he's going into different factories and pulling cigars out. This is not a Lost and Found cigar. This is a La Barba cigar. This is Tony Bellato's blend. He's working with the Ventura factory with that, which is the same factory that the Caldwell cigars are coming out of. It's a very interesting blend. He's using that HVA wrapper, which is what the Rapture you just talked about uses.
Yep.
He's using a Corojo binder, and he's got fillers, and he's using a varietal called Carbonell, which Caldwell also talked about that tobacco he's using in his Last Czar. So I'm not familiar with the Carbonell, but other than that's what it is. I was very, very impressed with this cigar.
Yeah, you rated it higher than I did. I think you had it at Fight Chuck Norris, maybe?
It's either Fight Chuck Norris or a box worthy. I've talked to other people saying, and Seth from Seth's Humidor is one of those. Maybe if you have another cigar rating, I call Seth sometimes, or I call Paul. But Seth happens to love the Caldwell stuff. He actually smoked this before I did, and he was the one who actually called me and said, "You got to smoke this cigar." We were supposed to have Tony Bellotto on the show, and I probably have to reschedule that because I want to get him on. He's an interesting guy. He knows a lot about wines and stuff. But he had given me this, he had given me these cigars for the show originally, and I was blown away how good this cigar was.
Yeah, and this is very much, I would call it a finesse cigar.
Yeah.
You got to really pay attention when you're smoking it. It's got a lot of subtle flavors. In just the way it presents the flavors and aromas and spice is somewhat subtle, and I appreciate that in a cigar. And I think they did a very good job with it. And I really liked it. I mean, I gave it a box where they just smoking one. I thought the flavors were very good. It's a fantastic cigar.
That was a Corona Gordo you had, right?
I think so. Or
Yeah,
Toro. I think you listed it as a Toro. I think it was a Toro.
Okay, it was a Toro. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. No, I very impressive cigar. That stuff coming out of the Ventura factory has just been excellent.
I think you got one more, Will.
I got two more.
Two more. Okay.
Okay. So I got one more 66 I'm going to talk about.
Two 66s.
Yeah, I don't remember even 1 week I've talked about it at Box Press 66, but I happen to have, and it just so happened it was really more coincidental. I didn't really plan this. So this year, Punch came out with their Rare Corojos, and they released a 6.5 by 66 called the El Diablo. Okay. Now you want to talk about a brick? This cigar is very heavy in the hand. Okay. The AJ Fernandez didn't quite feel as heavy in the hand. This one is absolutely heavy. It's got that rich. I like the Rare Corojo line, but I find they take some time after they shipped. So I've had this sitting probably for about 3 months before I smoked it. It's got that dark Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. I don't think they actually have Corojo. If there's Corojo, I don't know where it is. It may be in the filler because it's a broadleaf binder. But another cigar that I was pretty impressed with how it performed in the big ring gauge. It had a black coffee note. It had some woody notes. It had some black pepper. It had what I call a vegetal component, almost like that vegetable kind of I guess it's kind of a cliche, I know, but there was just something vegetal about it, which I kind of really liked. But there was a lot of those black coffee notes, which I thought really did good. This cigar burned really good in the big ring gauge. I mean, it was again. This one got a little softer at the end than the Brute that I spoke from AJ Fernandez. It's a very good cigar. It's it didn't quite wow me as much as the AJ Fernandez one. It's a little higher priced at $825. There are other Rare Corojos I'd probably go before this one, but it's a solid fiver. Again, the type of cigar you talk about where you're outside on the deck and you just want to have a long smoke and it's nice weather out. Won't win over the connoisseur size smoker, but will appeal to that big ring gauge smoker very, very easy.
And this is regular production?
Well, yes, it's an annual production. So the Rare Corojos are released once a year, and they're usually released in March every year. And then what they've been doing the last few years is they release a set of standard sizes, and this has been added to the set of standard sizes. And then they'll usually release a unique Vitola for the year. But this one's they're planning on bringing this one ongoing back. And it wasn't, by the way, the other point I'll make, it was El Diablo. I was expecting a powerhouse spice bomb.
Yeah.
I did not get that. So it wasn't anything like that at all.
So strength-wise, how did it kind of like power-wise, how did it compare to the New World versus this one? They were pretty much in the same category.
They were very much in the same category. They were both medium. This one probably was a little more dialed back, even than but it was still enough of a medium. Yeah.
That's good to know. That's good to know for my summertime smoking.
If you like Rare Corojo,
I do like Rare Corojo. Yeah, I think it's good.
Check this out. Yeah.
What's the price tag on this one?
$825. And there's a lot of now. This one took me almost 3 hours to smoke. There's more. It's more densely packed.
Yeah.
Than the
New World burned a little quicker.
The New World burned a little quicker, not much.
Yeah, not much. Right.
Yeah.
I went back to La Aurora and I smoked a Preferitos Platinum. This is the one that comes in the silver tube. And this is also Cameroon, right? Platinum is Cameroon, right? Yes.
I'll do a blank.
Oh no, I was counting on you, Will.
Go ahead.
So I believe the platinum is,
Yeah, it's Cameroon.
yeah, it's Cameroon.
I was why I had blue in my head for some reason, but go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's the
that's
emerald,
Ecuador.
right? So
Yeah.
platinum is Cameroon. This one had been, let's see, this one came out of a tube that I purchased recently from Havana Cigar Club because they put that card in the box of when it was like packed and shipped, and this one was 3 years old. I think it was the tag when it was boxed was at least 3 years. It was like the oldest one out of all the Preferitos, and it was really good. I think I like the larger size Cameroon, the Preferito number one, better than the smaller size that comes into the tube. And I know there's a big price point difference between them sometimes, but I like the larger size better. These are expensive. A lot of that has to do with the Cameroon and the Preferito blend. But this one was really good. I smoked this early on in the day. It's not a powerhouse cigar, but it produces that fantastic Cameroon sweetness that I have to have at least once a week. I have to smoke something Cameroon, and this is a great offering in the Cameroon wrapper.
You know, the broadleaf is not in that number one in regular production. I found out there is a broadleaf, which is the diamond.
Yes.
That's a shop exclusive to a place in the Dallas area. I got to get my hands on it because I
Well,
would love to.
you can get the broadleaf, the diamond blend in the Corona size next door at Havana Cigar Club,
Absolutely.
and that's an
Wh-
exclusive to them
Yep.
in
As
that
well as all
Corona.
those Coronas. Yep.
Yeah, and I have a couple more of those Coronas to smoke. In fact, I have a
I have
couple in
some
the
too.
Cameroon. Yeah,
I have a bunch of them that you sent me. I haven't gotten
yeah.
through yet, so I got to go through that.
What the broadleaf and the diamond is a different size exclusive to another store?
Yeah, the number one though, they did make it to a cigar store called Michael's, which Phil Zengi was at when he was traveling through Texas. It's in the Fort Worth area. I got to get my hands on that because,
Yeah, I
in my
agree.
opinion, I love the Preferito in that number one size.
I do too.
And the one that they released in regular production, it has me wanting more.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, I agree. Do you have one more, Will?
One more.
Okay, go for it.
CAO Amazon Basin. Um,
Oh,
this
I
is
thought this was one you talked about already.
Did I talk about this one already?
I think you did. The one with I remember it because it has that twine-looking band
Okay,
on
then
it.
I did talk about. I smoked another one of them.
Okay.
And it's got that rare tobacco from
Yeah.
the Amazon. They're really good cigars.
And this looks like a smaller size than the other one you smoked.
It's the same size. They only
Oh,
made
is it?
one.
Okay.
It's a 6x52. But I tell you what, I give CAO. It's a limited run they did of these, and the gating factor with that Amazon basin was there's a leaf from Bragança, which is a region of Brazil, which is I guess it's in the interior, which they literally have Indians growing it, and they can't get it anymore. Um, I really like this cigar. It's a box split. You know, I've seen a lot of people sour on CAO
Mm.
since they've gotten acquired from General. This is probably the one cigar that everyone said they got it right. It's actually a very good. It's getting harder to get. I think there's a shop that still has them, and that I'm going to be hitting this weekend. So I'm going to see if I could get one to you because I want to see what you think of it. It's a more of an earthy cigar, but it's a little different. Is all I'm going to say. There is something definitely different about this cigar, but it was well worth it. Now with that twine going around it, you can't pull it off. You have to either end your cigar or smoke through it. If you pull it off, you'll crack the whole thing. But when you smoke through the twine, it's not going to make it harsh. You'll know you're smoking through the twine, but it's also it's also the point where you're about at the end of the cigar anyway. So
Last one on my list was a La Colonia Miami Torpedo.
I sent you that one.
You did. What can you tell me about this blend, Will? I looked it up a little bit online.
Yeah, right now. I'll tell you what it is. It is a cigar, and I love this cigar. It is a Casa Fernandez made cigar. So the folks at Casa Fernandez are making it. There's a line called La Colonia. It's only in a handful of shops. I know Pipe and Pint, where the guys from Larceny are going to be, have this cigar. I have I'm a big Casa Fernandez factory guy. It's made in Miami. this cigar, I'm curious to see what you're going to think about it because I thought it was really unique.
Yes, I would agree with your sentiments. It is very unique, and a lot of the newer brands that are coming out, sometimes it's difficult to be unique with everything coming out. This one was unique, and it really holds your attention. And I want to smoke more to really pick out the flavors because I think some of them were kind of subtle. But this cigar performed really well, had great flavors, and really holds your attention and kind of demands like, hey, I'm unique. You need to pay attention to me. And you're like, wow, it's really a cool experience to smoke.
When the folks from, and I met the folks from La Colonia, they gave me that cigar, right? And it was unbanded. And this is about 2 years ago. And they started having me name factories that this came out of. And I named a bunch of them. I don't remember what the factories. And I smoke a lot of Casa Fernandez. That was not one that came to mind. That did not smoke like Casa Fernandez. I got almost this cream soda, vanilla cream. I called it egg cream type of. It was a very unique flavor on that, which I just like I said was very different than anything I've had. And it's a popular cigar for the shops that have it in North Carolina. I don't think it's really out of North Carolina right now, but really good cigar.
Mm. Yeah, I definitely agree. I rated it a box split, but one that I want to definitely try more of because,
Yep.
like I said, it commands your attention.
Yep.
So, Will, contest for this week. I
Yes.
have the question.
Okay, good. Okay.
So the question for this week, and you're going to win a Smoke Naked T-shirt, and what do we want to give? Some Saga cigars?
Yeah, let's give some Saga cigars.
Okay, so we're going to do a Smoke Naked T-shirt. We're going to do a line sampler from Saga Cigars, which also includes a cutter as well, which is nice.
Yeah, yeah.
So for a Smoke Naked T-shirt and a line sampler of Saga Cigars, I want you to name the 3 cigars on this show that I rated a Fight Chuck Norris for them.
That's a great question.
Send that.
And by the way,
Go
we
ahead.
have no winner from last week, by the way.
We still
you
have
guys
a winner for our second contest that we ran last week, correct?
Oh, yeah. We have one. I think we have one more left.
Of what?
I think it was Saga. Whatever it was last week.
Yeah, the Saga contest for last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a winner for that one yet.
Yep.
So make sure to go listen to last week's show and listen all the way to the end. I think towards the end is where I gave out that contest information.
Yep. Yep.
So make sure you do that. And this week, obviously, send an email to the show at stogiegeeks.com with your answer. What were the 3 cigars that Paul, myself, rated Fight Chuck Norris for them? First one to answer that one correctly will win a Smoke Naked T-shirt in your size and a line sampler of Saga cigars and a free cutter.
And they're great cigars.
They are. Yeah, we had Jean-Michel on the show last week? Was that last week? Last week.
Last week.
Excellent.
One more thing. I think we should mention this. You don't want to miss next week's show.
What is next week's show now, Will?
We happen to be have a gentleman by the name of Rocky Patel.
Oh, and that's going to be an earlier.
Well, you were going to record that before the show.
And then we're going to air it on the show, you said.
We'll air it on.
Okay.
We're going to add it on the show, yeah, because we had to work with Rocky's schedule, and so we wanted, they were able to accommodate us on this date. So, we will have Rocky Patel, I think, for probably an extended segment. So that's going to be pretty good.
We've been doing this show for 3 years now. This
140 episodes.
140 episodes, and I've just been itching to interview Rocky. I can't wait to interview Rocky. It's going to be awesome. And then, like Will said, we're going to air that for the first time. We're not going to publish it. We're going to air it on the show live and then publish it. So you got to watch the show next week for our Rocky Patel interview. And
we have to give a shout out to Chris Crawford. He worked to get this done.
He did. We put him on it.
Yeah. I'm issuing him another challenge soon for another guest, but this is a big one. So he did a great job.
Well, that's what happens when you book one big guest. Then you get asked to do more.
Yep.
So that concludes this episode of the Stogie Geek Show. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see everyone next week.